Hi guys, I'm back to start a new album. You may have already seen this one. This is one that I put together for a class for my family. So it is 6.5 by 4.5. It comes with this peacock cutout as well. And this album was inspired by this paper, which this paper here is a printed paper. I'm not using this paper. I'll show you what I'm using in a bit. But if you want to know what this paper is, let me know in the comments and I will give you that information. This is also one that I printed. The polka dots here and this one, it goes with this paper pack. So if you want to know what they are, just let me know. So this album, I'm calling it Lacey Lines. So with it you get, this is my promo or my prototype album, so this is incorrect. That'll be much smaller like this one. So you get your little flip pages, you get the straight lace, you get these little pockets, so you can just tuck a photo right in there or tags or whatever. Okay, there's another pocket. This is a large pocket. You get the wavy border, which again, this one is a prototype, so it's been corrected. And you get the wavy border this way for flips. You get this style of tags. What else do we have in here? This is another big pocket. You get envelopes, so this is just the straight one. You also get the wavy edge and the plain. Okay. Flip pages again. This one is too big. You'll get them smaller. All the different sizes of the tags. Another top pocket. Just more pockets and flips. Pockets and flips. You saw this. And the plain on here. And here's just a plain envelope. So nice and simple. That was just done on the paper itself. You also get, which I don't have in this one, Lacey rectangles. So you will get the outer mat as well as an inner mat here. So each one of these has 2 mats, and you get this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sizes. There's also a booklet. This booklet I've cut out in 24-pound photocopy paper. I just get that at Costco. And there is some itty bitty flowers. Now these, a few of them I tried to put the stickles in the centers, but if they're not glued down then it really makes a mess, so you're best to have them glued down. It will come with some leaves, which of course you can adjust your sizes to whatever you like. It will also come with a double of this, so there's another one that would be attached like that. This one I didn't do a very good job of. I wet the flowers and shaped them, and I made them too small. As you can tell, they went from this to that. So what I'm going to do, we'll do it together, is do another one of these, but I'll leave the flowers larger like this. We won't make them as small, and then it fills out and it covers all of this, and it's just a cluster of flowers. And the paper I'm using today, I have printed, and it's called Floral Sweetness, and it's A and B illustrations on Etsy. So I've printed, I believe, 2 pieces of each. So you get this design, and this one, which is nice and simple. And this one I think I printed 4, because I love polka dots. And it's so easy, it'll blend and match with anything. And we've got 2 of this design, and the stripes. And this, I did it in the 8.5 by 11, but you can see it's cut off. So with my printer, I can cut or print larger. Well, let's go through these ones here first. So this is the gray brown with some green fern on it. And again, the gray brown and more had been cut off of this one. So my printer is a Canon Pixma Pro 100, and this is printed at 10 by 10. So with this, you get the images smaller, because this is the same. So a lot was cut off on this, but you get the image much smaller. Another thing I noticed is with this paper, it's a much brighter white than this one. I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick that up. If you can see it if I'm in frame. So this came out a little bit more yellow here, whereas here it's not as yellow. This paper is also, when you buy paper pads like this is a DCWV, you frequently get these full page. Maybe this one doesn't have it. No, this one doesn't have it. But you'll get these big full page, which I guess would be a great first page in a 12 by 12 album. But since I'm not doing 12 by 12 albums, this paper isn't of much use to me. So I'm using it to print on. So that way I'm not wasting any paper. So now we have this one, which I did in the 8.5 by 11 and in the 10 by 10. And we have two of that. And again, the difference in the paper, you can see that. It really changes the color, which is fine. I'll still use this. I just will make sure that they're not, like this page isn't against this page, sort of thing. So we have those, and this one I did, it's 10. It would have been the 10 by 10, but I took off the fit to page. So it made it 12 inches this way, but it was only 10 this way. So this would be great for a cover. The images are a little bit bigger, but you get the entire image basically. Okay. And then we have this one, which I did in the 10 by 10 only. And again, using paper that I otherwise wouldn't be using. And here we have 8.5 by 11 and the 10 by 10. I always like to add in some cardstock, so I found some pink that matches quite well. I do not know what brand of paper this is. I bought it at a garage sale. Looks like we've got some pencil on here. So again, I don't know what kind of paper that is or what color. This one, I think this one is Coordinations. It's got that sheen to it. And this one is Basil, the Swiss dots, and it's called Thicket. So I'm going to work those in as well. So let's get started on the album. I'm going to do a cracker box album. And all I've done here is cut off all the flaps around the outside. So now I'm going to cut it down to size. So the album is 6.5 inches tall. So I'm going to cut this at 6.5. My cutter doesn't cut accurately if I use the bumpers here, so I have to line it up, but it cuts through this paper or this chipboard with no problem whatsoever. And now these pages are 4.5, so we're going to line this crease up at the 4.5, and then we will just cut off the rest. So I want it right on the inside of that. And I'll do the same with this one. Oops. Oh dear, I moved it. Okay, I will get another cracker box and I'll be right back. And oh, I did that wrong. I did that really wrong. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, let's trim this out again. So we're going to line it right up along the edges there of the folds. Get rid of this. If you're doing a fold, try to have your blade at the top. You seem to get a much better, there we go, cut. Get rid of this one. And this one. Okay, so we want the album to be 6.5 inches tall. It goes this way. Maybe that's where I went wrong. 6.5. Okay, works better from the top. Now, 4.5, that looks better. Again, just in front of that score is where you're measuring it to. There we are. Get rid of all of this. Okay, so there's our cover. We already have our built-in spine, which is awesome. So I do have 2 of these, which, why are you shorter? Okay. That's all correct. Okay. Well, why don't we just do it this way. I'll cut this down and we will cover the spine, and that way what did we do? Okay, we'll just cover the inside spine, and then that way we can attach the other, but this should have been long enough because this was supposed to be just a cover. Wasn't that terrible? I cut out 8 of these for a class we did, and I do not remember how I did that. No, we wouldn't have attached it just to that. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to I'll use these 2. We will join them in the center, and then I will just trim it off afterwards. That's what I will do. And then I will have to check out those SVGs and see what I've done with them, because this is not how we did it. I think we did a wrapped cover. Pretty sure we did a wrapped cover. Even if we did, that's, yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, we're going to do it this way. So we're going to put tape all around our edge. I was using a different brand of tape and it turned out to be not as strong, and I actually had to glue some paper or some albums together. So I won't be using any other brand other than the Scorpal Sukwang. Because this is, after all, holding your album together. And I have done albums before that it's strictly glue because I was out of tape and they hold perfectly fine. So we're not going on those score lines. Just the same as if you were doing a hardcover. Now we will fill in with glue. So get all of the paper peeled off after we give it a good press. Make sure that tape is really stuck on there. Oh, come on. Get this all off. And the glue I'm going to use is Fabri-Tac. I like it. If you can use lighter weight paper on it and it doesn't wrinkle. But you do want to make sure that you get full coverage because you don't want to get little bubbles coming up. A little piece of black paper. Oh dear, probably should have just left it. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on top of my tape as well, because that will spread it and make sure it gets right to the edge. And then we'll just cover it up. It also gives you wiggle room when you put your paper on, because that tape is so sticky. So take one of these and we will go approximately in the middle of the spine. And we'll just lay that on. And we'll do the same with this piece. Oh, this one's not even the same width. Bizarre. I just cut them back to back. My printer hasn't, or not printer, my cutter is over 2 years old, and it's not holding its alignment anymore. Oh, I guess this one was the same, just on the other side. Okay. Okay, so I will grab a cutting mat, metal edged ruler. Probably don't even need that. This is chipboard. And my knife. And I will trim that off. There we go. And the same on this side. Okay, now we're going to grab our bone folder and we're going to work that in. There we are. Same on this side. It's a little thick. Oh, that's good. There we are. So now we can put our 3 pages together. Okay. So we have pages 1, 2, and this will be 3. And I haven't scored it yet. So these are small ones. We can use the little guy. My favorite score tool. So these, it's scored at 4.5. Turn it 4.5 again. And then you're going to have this 1/8 of an inch. So at the top and bottom, you're going to score right in the middle of that, just at the top. Just like that. And that's, I think that's page 3. Page 2 is the same, 4.5 at both ends. And then here you're going to go, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, of course. You can't do 2.5. So where is my line? There we are. So you're going to put this, right on the nodules. 1, 2, and then at the 3 on top. You can see where there's these raised. So it's the middle one, which is the 3rd. And you're just going to put a little knot right there. And we'll do that here as well on top of the 3rd one. Like that. Just so that you have a guide for the center. So here we are, we're going to go 4.5, which is here. And score it. And turn it around. And score it again at 4.5. And then we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 3, 4, 5, right in between those two. And we can put this away. take and fold on our fold lines. Give it a good press. There's page 1. Page 2. Page 3. And this one has 1/4 inch in between each page, not a 1/2 inch, because it is a true mini. So now we're going to put tape down the center here. And that should fit perfectly. It's a 1/4 inch. Excuse my head if it got in the way. And now on this one. Don't think we'll need to put a 3rd one in. We can just put a little bit of liquid glue there if we feel it needs it. This one, well, we can. We'll go on to the album. Right into the album, rather. And we'll do one in the middle. And again, you can put some wet glue. Okay. Make sure your glue is well on there. Okay. And we will start with the smallest one, and we will put it onto the next smallest. Oh, heaven's sake, this tape just picks up anything that is sitting around. I don't even have any green on my table. Oh well. Okay. If you like, you can put a little bit of a glue stick or something right on there. So we're going to line that up to that. And get off. At this end. Can't really see where I put a score there. Oh. Oh, not even. Okay, looks pretty good. So there we are with our first 4 pages. Now, I can take this this off. And I think I might put a little bit of glue down the center of that one. Maybe on the edge of the tape. Okay, so for the first page, what we have is a flip page with a medium flip page. And on the front we have a small pocket. We have a large lace full page pocket. And here we have a small lace pocket. So we will score these and tape them. Now normally when I do an album, I ink my pockets and everything as well if I'm not using black. But this time I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to ink my decorative papers. So we'll get these all scored. As you can see, they pretty much all line up. Just find the tab and, whoopsie, stay within the lines. And this is a medium lace flip page. This is 65-pound craft paper from Michaels. I like using craft paper because it is a little bit heavier, even though it's only 65 pounds. I still find it to be a little bit heavier than regular 65-pound paper. And the paper that I printed on is 65 pounds as well. I like to use heavier paper for my main bases. This one I forgot to cut out my main bases. I would normally use minimum 80, this is 65. But normally I do have 110 pound that I would have preferred to use because your main base is what we're building on. Now 65 pounds, this will be perfectly fine. Okay, what do we do here? Okay, this tab is a little bit shorter than ½ inch. I know it was hard working with the decorative edges, trying to get them to work in space-wise. That'll be the front. Okay, so we will fold and tape. I have to keep an eye on my camera because it will only record for 20 minutes and then it has to be turned off and given a bit of a cool down period. You can always just put your tape on and then do all of this after, so I think I'll do that with these ones because then you're adhering your tape or burnishing your tape at the same time. So as close to your fold line as you can get it. And I just find using this little tool is a lot easier than putting down and picking up scissors and and then you have it pre-cut for the next piece. And you will see it doesn't match up exactly because these are done by hand. And then I convert them into SVGs. So I doubt you will find any two tabs the same. Once you have all your pieces cut out and prepped, you can put these albums together so quick. I find the hardest part is choosing my paper. That seems to be what takes me the longest. And for all the other pages, I will have this all done. It'll all be prepped. So then it'll just be a case putting it together, putting on the mats, and done. And you can put your mats on before you attach your pockets and flips if you prefer. That is totally up to you. Almost got off track there. And our last one. Okay. These ones are already. I know it's not brazed. Burnished, that's it. You need to write a sticky note. These ones haven't been folded, so we'll get it all in one shot. When I did the class with family, they'd never done one of these albums before. And we took several breaks because whenever they're up for a weekend, we play games and stuff. And we still had the whole album done in the one day. Mind you, we were up past, 1 or 2 in the morning. It could have been even later than that. Okay, so we'll start with putting on our first large flip page. That's going to go right here on page 1. And just to make this easier for you, there. And where to put my pokey tool? There we are. And if you like, you can put a little bit of glue on to your tab, whether it be a glue stick or wet glue, but I think I'll be okay. And we'll give that a burnish. Oopsie. There we are. Our first page is on. And then we have this large pocket, which is going to go right here. So get that one on and that one on. And peel, whoops. And then this one is going directly onto the front page. And this is a little bit bigger. So, oh, that's why that other edge, right. Oh, this is just when I cut out the little flowers. I left them on my mat. Okay, I'm going to try and I will adjust this for the SVGs. What I'm going to do is this. And that. That's what we can do. Not a big problem. And I will run just a little bit of glue. This is the art glitter glue, dries clear. I will write that, oops. Better burnish that edge. There we go. And we'll just put a little bit of glue in there. Maybe. And we'll bring back album. Let's see how this works now. Oh, look at that. Okay. Perfect. So I will just have to adjust that SUV. I've attached a flower to my stainless steel. I've lost the actual stainless steel one, so I've gone out and bought stainless steel pins, which they claim to be stainless steel, but they do discolor a bit. And the tips the balls keep pulling off, so that way it doesn't pull off. Give this a good burnish in place. Okay, now on top of this we have a plain pocket. Are you going to be the right size? Oh. Almost afraid to find out. It's weird, none of this happened when we were putting the album together. So, better make sure I'm using the right file, that I don't have I frequently have two files, a working file and the final file. So I may have messed that up. It's a little bit off. Yeah, we'll have to go back in and check these guys out. Not that you're really going to notice. Okay, now we flip that open and we have a medium lace flip page that's going to go right here. Okay, we will do it this way. Fit nicely. Could up there a bit more. Don't rush the way I am. Make sure that you're getting them where they should be. And over here, this one goes right on that line. Yeah, well, look at you, just perfect. And one more tape. And turn it this way. So there are all the flips and pockets on page number 1. So now I will ink my pages. These I will ink. Where did I put my ink? This is my favorite ink. It's archival sepia or sepia. Where's my little petri dish? And my little dish for keeping my paddle in. Just get a little sip of tea. Okay. Clear my space. Oh, we don't want that in there. Okay. So we're just going to put a little bit of ink. If you like, you don't have to do this. I think it just gives it a finished look. See, these I should have done with 110 as well. It would have been much stronger. Yeah, I don't know that you'll see this much on this paper, but I'll know it's there. And I will probably be using the Fabri-Tac again for gluing these down. Oh, wow. That's a brand new paddle. It's already shredding. And this doesn't have to be simple or super neat, or the main purpose of this is supposed to be just to cover that white edge on printed paper, but it also gives it a nice finished look. And the more you put on it, then you can make it more grungy. I don't think this paper is grungy looking, so just leave it with a little bit around the edges. I like the way it works on this pink. The last one. Okay, set that aside, that out of the way, and let's start on the inside. So here we will have this guy going right on here, and it's a very small border around it. Full one. There we go. That one started. So as you can see, once it's all cut out, it doesn't take long, and that was even with me doing all the prep work on this. So if you get all your prep work done first, then putting the album together is a breeze. You're going away on a weekend retreat or something, you can easily get an album done in a day. Or sorry, a weekend. start to finish, pictures the whole bit. I don't think it's